Hello, I'm Dr. Tom, and I'd like to welcome you to this Friday's update. And as we are nearing our Cabo event, I will tell you this is going to be spectacular. One of the designated hotels for hotels of the world, a world-class, beautiful environment. An environment where we can rest and rebuild and we can become invigorated. And we can talk about what we've accomplished in 2019 and we can talk about what's going to happen in the world of 2020, our perfect vision for 2020. We are very excited about what's happening there. So we look forward to seeing many of you from virtually all parts of the world convening in Mexico very soon, in just a couple of weeks. So, having said that, I will tell you there will be many new members joining us there. So I am going to thank you upper level members in advance for your mentorship, for your guidance, for your teaching and showing them the ropes, if you will, these new members as they join the Global Information Network and as they join your club. So again, thank you prior to that happening, because it's been spectacular every single event that we have. So once again, I will tell you that there will also be a tab below where you can click on for our new member December names. Those of you who are new, who have joined the club, congratulations again. And for those of you who sponsored them, thank you. Your club thanks you for your sponsorship. Many of you are eligible for the 3, 5, 8, and 10. We're going to be talking more about that in Cabo and in future releases of this weekly update, so that you will be abreast of everything that is available to you and for you to excel inside the Global Information Network. I will tell you, once again, remind you about the member development series that we have, weekly releases of additional training and information that is listed on your website. You do have to log on to be able to see that and to hear that. So again, there will be a tab on the home page that talks about member development. So again, join us for that information as we begin to share new, exciting information and things that tie into the Success Mastery course for your benefit as being a member of this club. I will tell you back to Cabo for just a moment, because there are a couple of parties there. Yes, we will be doing a white party on Friday, so be sure and bring your white attire. Those receptions are always so much fun and just a beautiful, beautiful time to be a part of this club and to be active in this club. And then, of course, Saturday night, we always have a theme party. And I will tell you, this time in Mexico, we're going to be doing a very dressy island theme. So yes, that means you can do your colored prints, you can dress to the nines, you can dress as much as you'd like. You can, please wear dress. We will be talking about colorful prints. We're talking about linen. We're talking about maybe hats are appropriate. We're talking about colorful ties, vests, pocket squares, whatever you feel like puts you into an elegant, dressy look with an island theme. We look forward to that, and as always, the pictures will be spectacular. So again, I'm welcoming you to that party on Saturday night. It's always a blast. The dinner, the dancing, it's always fun. And of course, we will be revealing the Lighthouse Women that evening, and we will also be revealing our next event, so you'll want to be there and be in attendance. I will tell you that as we've started into 2020, your perfect vision for your 2020, and as we make resolutions, I'm encouraging you to write those down, to stay focused on those. So many people, the statistics are scary in how many people can't make it a week with their New Year's resolution. Well, in Gen, we're a little different than that. In Gen, we understand planning for our future. We understand how our brain works, and we understand how, when you make a commitment, to follow through, how you take action steps, where you break it down into smaller pieces that are attainable goals. And so we're very excited about bringing you, we're talking this week in this training about brain power, and I'm very excited to bring to you more information and more understanding on how your brain works. And to that end, I have asked Dr. Ted to share some of the latest information available about your brains and about how you're wired and why you do certain things and how you can take steps to do things to contribute to your success. So having said that, Dr. Ted?
Hey, thanks, Dr. Tom. I appreciate the opportunity to talk with my Gen brothers and sisters and to be able to talk about, dreams and goals and all the things that we've been working on and I've been telling you about for a year or more, that some of the dreams that Tom and I have had and some of the aspirations and where we're going and where we're headed. And it led us to this whole thing about brain optimization. I spoke to that in detail in Denver when we were all there. Those of you that weren't able to be there, I hope that you'll be able to be here in Cabo, because I'm going to follow up and follow through with some of the things we talked about. Because we are the perfect examples of how Gen principles work. Gen members working together, helping each other, combining goals, leveraging these goals towards something bigger, better, faster, stronger. And that's what this is really about. So when we moved into the thing called brain optimization, it was kind of a buzzword back then, and nobody really knew exactly what it meant, but I do. And Tom and I do, and we understand what it means to maximize your brain function, your brain capacity, your cognitions, and to maximize your potential out there to be able to be, do, and have all the things that you want in your life. And I'm not just espousing this, I'm doing this. We're doing this. It's not just something that we talk about, it's something that we are doing. And since we were in Denver, a lot of things have happened that have just I'm getting goosebumps all over my head right now thinking about this, about the potential and things that are happening, moving forward, moving the ball forward. Of course, it takes longer than we always thought. It costs more than we always thought it would cost. But you know what? Once you get onto a project, a goal, a dream that's worthwhile, and people start to get behind you, now you know you're onto something really, really big. And I know we're onto something really, really big with this. So let me digress for just a moment and talk about the brain and how it functions and why you get into the state that you're in. Here's what happens. Your brain gets wired into a particular pattern, and it just does that over and over and over again because it's easy. I've used the analogy of a cow path out in the field where the cows walk in the same path every single day, every day, 365 a year, they go down the same path to get to the water, to get to the food. And you do the same thing because that's the way your brain works. It's a process that we term neuroplasticity, and then it molds into a particular pattern. Well, the good news is you can change the pattern. The pattern unlocks the power. When you change the pattern, you can unlock the power for greatness to come into your life, for the goals and the dreams and the aspirations that you have to manifest in your life. That's what Gen training and Gen principles have taught me over the years and have led me to the position that I'm in now, where I'm able to talk with you freely about where we're going and where you should be going and what you should be considering as you move forward in your life. So the thing called neuroplasticity means that your brain can actually change and shift and move into something different. Move into something different than you have now. The pattern that you're in now is giving you what you've been programmed, the subconscious has been programmed to give you. Well, what we've discovered is that if you can ramp up the brain function with BEST, with what we do with bioenergetic synchronization technique and nutrition, and we can ramp it up with supplements that the brain actually needs, the raw materials the brain needs to really boost up the mitochondrial function in there so they can just, boom, go. That was called NAD plus, and that's what we use in our facility. I've researched this, Tom and I've researched it for over a year and a half now, spent a lot of money putting together these protocols that no one else in the country is doing. There's no other clinic, no other facility that's doing what we're doing in the combinations that we're doing this to achieve brain optimization, which deals with addiction. It deals with all types of addiction and compulsive behavior, whether it's gambling addiction, sex addiction, pornography, or smoking, or addicted to any of the prescription medications or opioids or methamphetamine or cocaine or pot. They're all addictive processes that deal with brain function. Change the brain, change the function, optimize function, boom, we're onto a whole new path. Let me tell you what, we're getting calls now from the state of Illinois, the highest level of officials in Illinois responsible for grant monies, calling us saying, can we set up a call? I've got a call set with them next week. Could we have a call with you to see what's going on with this and how this works, because we are very interested. We want to help fund you in your mission. I'm thinking, what? It's pretty cool. Well, I'm very thankful and grateful when things like this happen. What will come of this? I have no idea. But I know I wrote an 18-page letter proposal to them and sent it in. And when they read that, they got on the phone and the email and said, could we set up a call? We need to talk. So I'm very excited about this. I know Tom's excited. Our partners are excited. Many of our Gen members that are part of this facility up there with what we're doing, several of you, I know are excited. I've got some great announcements to make in Cabo when we're down there. I want to fill you in on the things that I told you we were going to do that we've actually done. I'm going to tell you about some of the patients that we've actually seen. I'm going to tell you about how they responded and where they are now in their life. I'm going to share some of the video with you, some of the audio with you that they were able to share with us so that you'll sit there and go, what? Yeah, what? I'm going to share with you some of neuro patterning in the brain when we talk about neurofeedback. We're talking about brain mapping and neurofeedback that we do with the very expensive equipment that we have there that we can show before and after. I will share these cases with you. I will show you up on the live screen exactly what happens, and I will encourage you to help you maximize your own life, the things that you're doing. How could what we're doing there in our facility help you be bigger, better, faster, stronger, help you absorb the Gen training and principles even more quickly and effectively, help you increase your financial status where you really want to be? I don't know what your goals are, but I can tell you they're probably similar to mine and Dr. Tom's and Blaine's, I bet you. So, we're all in this together, and I just wanted you to know why we do what we do and why I'm so excited about the future of Jen and our relationship back and forth with each of you. I want to speak with you in Cabo. I hope you'll come up to me and talk to me about how it might be beneficial to you to get brain optimization, what this NAD is, what the packs that we have that people have been taking for supplements now since Denver. I want to share all this information with you because it's an amazing, amazing leading edge, cutting technology that's taking us into the future of brain optimization, which means how to use your brain to the very maximum capacity and how that infiltrates into your whole lifestyle, whether it's nutrition or how you're dealing with your family or your kids or your job, whatever that might be, how to actually make this work the very best for you. That's our goal and our dream for you. And I'm so excited to be able to share that with you when I get to see you in Cabo. I'm Dr. Ted. Thanks, Dr. Tom, and back to you.
Thank you for that information. And I will tell you that you can't fool your brain. Let me say that again. You cannot fool your brain. What does that mean? What that means is that you may be able to fool other people. You may be able to get away with certain things by convincing people of one thing or another, but your brain knows you. Your brain knows when you're telling what's true and when you're telling something that's not true. And it causes a physiological reaction throughout your body. It's important that you understand this. You cannot fool your brain. Therefore, you cannot fool your brain's communication to your body and the chemicals that it secretes and the way that it actually works. And so today I wanted to spend a little more time on brain power, because it's imperative that as we understand, it's one thing to understand how the brain works. It's another to understand how it applies in real life. What does it do for you? How can you become a better communicator? How can you have a better relationship? How can you have a better business? How can you react better inside your business or with your fellow employees? How do you communicate? All of these things are tied together, and they're all based on a magnetic resonance that begins with your brain. And I will tell you that when we're interacting with people, when we're interacting with other people, we have to first of all discover the caliber of that person from an energetic standpoint. Now, I'll touch more on that in just a moment. Understand their caliber from a magnetic standpoint. What frequency do they vibrate on? And then adapt your frequency to them. You see, it's the old bit. This is interesting because this was talked about in the early 1900s from a magnetic standpoint. It's go where they are. It's adapt to your conversations, whether it's in a business conversation, whether it's in a personal conversation, whether it's in a relationship conversation, whether it's in a spiritual conversation with you get into that frequency. You see, you get into the mode, if you will, when you're doing meditation, when you're doing mindfulness, when you're doing a Morter march. Regardless of how you get into your spiritual mode, you have to adapt and adjust, even if it's just you, adapt and adjust your frequency, dial it in, if you will, to that particular mode. So as we do that, understand when we get your brain to vibrate, get your brain to vibrate, your body to vibrate at a frequency that is congruent with the person that you're speaking with. Let's assume it's a conversation. We're talking about this because if you vibrate at a frequency that is so far above another, they lose a relatability. You can confuse them, or they'll have a failure to understand what it is that you're attempting to communicate. And if you vibrate at a frequency that is so much below them, they may be in a state of indifference or a state of contempt. You lose their attention. They feel, and we've all been in these types of conversations where the other person feels like it's a waste of time. You see, this is so important in developing your art and skill of communication. And it's all wired to your brain. How does your brain react? How do you feel comfortable in your own skin? You see, I've been very blessed to have some incredible mentors. And these are qualities, while I might not have understood as much about them at the time when I was being impressed and molding who I am from these gentlemen, but my father was a master at this capability of understanding where someone was from an energetic standpoint, from a communication standpoint. And I saw it when he was in practice in the early 70s here. He started in the 60s, but I began to notice it in the 70s when I was in high school, how he could relate to virtually anyone. He could talk to farmers, and he could relate to them because he knows about farming. He knows farming because he had a farm. He grew up on a farm, so he had a relatability there. He could talk to businessmen and bankers because he was a businessman and because he started a savings and loan here. So he understood banking. He had a relatability to different people on different levels. And it was magical to watch him turn his dial to hone in to make a communication that would happen. I've seen this with Kevin. He's a masterful communicator. Kevin is a master of asking the right questions. You see, when you're asking questions, it gives you two things. One, it gives you information about knowing about learning who this person is that you're communicating with. And it also gives you time to think about your response. Masterful. It's how he's been so incredibly successful in the infomercial world. He can communicate it, he can relate to everyone. And he draws analogies to different aspects until finally you get to saying, yeah, I can relate to that. I know someone like that, or I've been in that situation. Very relatable. Ed Foreman, another mentor of mine. Spectacular in this category, in so many ways, and particularly in this category. When Ed talks to you, you feel like you're the only person in the world. He has a way in which he can relate to you about whatever topic it is that you choose to talk about. First of all, you have to have some intelligence to be able to do this. And secondly, you have to have some worldly experience. And Ed has these things. And this is how he was able to get people from two different states to elect him to Congress, because he had a relatability. He listens, he asks questions. And the answers were directed at a frequency and a vibration in which those people that he was communicating with could relate to. Those same traits and characteristics are available to all of us. It's really just a matter of tapping in. It's a matter of saying, I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to be where I'm at. I'm going to be where I'm at. I'm going to be in the moment. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be present. And you see, when you do that with your brain, that resonance builds and your energy field builds, and it actually precedes you into the room. And it precedes you into a meeting. It precedes you into a conversation so that you can have a successful outcome. You see, this is building confidence. This is building your core. This is building your foundation. The gentlemen that I talked about, my father and Kevin and Ed, were able to do that because they had a foundation. They spent decades building their foundation. The same type of foundation that you can gain through the Success Mastery Course, that you are gaining through the Success Mastery Course. It's building that foundation so that virtually anything that happens around you, you can relate to, and you can approach it with a calm knowingness that brings that to the event. It brings that to the conversation. It brings that to the relationship. It brings that to your family. It brings that to the people who know you and who choose to be around you because they like basking in that, bathing in that calmness that you exude. Because quite frankly, most of their lives are not calm. People are caught up in a rat race world more so than ever before, because there's so much technology and so much information and so much chaos available to them if they choose to engage. And until you learn how to disengage from that, you're in it. You're in the mix. It's everywhere. It's when you put gas in your car. It's the speaker blaring at you. It's now video boards that are selling you something inside. It's in airports. It's it's in restaurants. It's virtually everywhere you go out in the public. It's in the mall. It's noisy. It's distracting if you let it. So the point is, build your core, build your brain power, build your frequency and vibration so that when you choose to engage in a conversation, which is the next really, really important, critically important point, well emphasized in this book about picking your peak times. They call it the time and the season for certain conversations, for certain environments. Some of you are morning people. You get up at 5 in the morning. You get up at 4 in the morning. You're at 6 in the morning. You have half a day finished by the time others in the world are just waking up. That is your season. That's when you're good at what you do. I suggest carrying out things that, business, relationship, those kinds of things, do those in your time. Others arise later. Maybe they shine in the afternoon. Maybe they shine in the evening. Set yourself up for success by moving your meetings or your conversations about certain topics to the times when you shine, to the times when it's your season. Use that to your advantage. Use that to your advantage when someone else wants to schedule something. If they want to meet at 6 in the morning and you're not good at that time in the morning, ask them to move it to later. Move it into your turf. Move it into your comfort zone. We've all been around people who are so overly excited, if you will. It's almost an obnoxious. Their energy just comes at you and comes at you and comes at you until the point where you physically, literally start to back up. If you're someone and you see the person you're communicating with begin to back up, you're either too close to them in their space physically, you're in their energy ball, and it's uncomfortable to them, so they're retreating from that. So physically, or if you're just talking, so there's a difference in enthusiasm, there's a difference in knowingness and being and passion and excitement. When someone is overpowering or overbearing in attempting to talk you into something, it's very noticeable. People tend to withdraw and they tend to move back. They tend to pull away. Well, that's what's happening from your energy standpoint. It's very difficult to overcome. So a key point is pay attention to that. And when you see someone reacting that way, lower your voice. Have them, what happens when you lower your voice, and what happens when you slow down, and what happens when you stay in your space is that it invites others into your space. They'll kind of turn their head and they'll listen. They'll lean into the table. They're paying attention. We've talked about this in some of our advanced trainings in Club 712 about the power of the pause. That's the difference in pulling and pushing. You'll learn more about that as you study in this club, the Global Information Network. It's what Dr. Ted and Blaine and I spend a lot of time on designing for you and making sure that we deliver to you a way in which you can be successful, a way in which you draw others into your world. It's all there for you. It's all available. It's up to you. It's your action steps. It's your massive and immediate action. It's your laser-like focus. It's your ability to pay attention to the task at hand and to not be distracted by the next shiny object. It's that unwavering commitment to accomplish the goal, whatever the goal is. Whether it's business, whether it's family, whether it's relationships, whether it's spiritual, whatever your goal is, stay focused on it. Don't let others distract you from that. Have an unwavering commitment to accomplish that and to know what it looks like, to know what it feels like, to know what it vibrates like, to know what your brain vibrates like, because it's all energy. It is truly all energy, and it is all about frequency and vibration and intensity and duration and all of those things that are so adeptly talked to in this Power for Success series that we've been going through, and we have a couple more to go. I look forward to sharing those with you as well. So again, have that absolute the clarity of focus. Have that steadfast refusal to waver. Do not lose sight of your goal. And I'm bringing this to you this week because we're early on in 2020. It's a new year. It's a new you. It's a new choice. It's a new way, if you so choose. And I will tell you that in reading this book and going over this book again and again, I wanted to close today's information about brain power, talking about, I want to read you the last paragraph that's here, because I think it so succinctly really sums up what we've been talking about in our brain. We assume two attitudes toward each of the worlds of matter and truth: the attitude of knowledge and the attitude of practical conduct. You see, one is learning the information, studying the information, and then it's applying it. It's studying, building your foundation in the Success Mastery course, and then applying it into the real world. That's where you'll see the difference. That's where you'll hear stories in Cabo about people who have done just that and the rewards that they have reaped in all categories of life. In one attitude, we seek to know about things, knowing and knowing about, the knowingness we talked about. In the other, we appropriate and use them. The present method consists of transforming the theoretical into the concrete attitude. For so only do we secure the value of things known. You're invited, therefore, to ask yourself concerning any new fact or truth discovered from time to time, number one, how can I work this discovery over into my practical character and life? How can I make it work for me? How can I use it? How can I apply it? How can I take action? How can I infuse it into who I am? You should then proceed immediately or as soon as possible to make the fact or truth a practical part of yourself. This is called growth. This is called adapting to your new environment. This is called your ability to communicate. This is called winning and celebrating those wins. Illustrations. If it's a new word, use it. If it's a new thought, make it your own by practicing it. If it's a new opportunity, seize it now. Massive and immediate action. If it's a new truth, principle, or law, work it over into your life. The laws of the universe, the truths of the universe. Not just other people's opinions. Don't be distracted by the noise and the chatter. What are the laws? What are the laws of the universe? And how can you utilize them and understand them to your benefit so you have the greatest life possible? By this method, you develop and use the brain in a very practical manner. And in closing, I'll remind you that an active, magnetic mind compels. An active, magnetic mind compels. It compels you, and it compels others. I look forward to seeing you in Cabo. Until next week, I'm Dr. Tom.